is buying tickets, sporting tickets. And if you want it to be easier, you need to get Game Time, folks. Game Time has killer deals, last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed, so you can stop stressing and getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area, whether that's sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, or whatever. With their lowest price guaranteed, it's the Game Time guaranteed, which means you're always getting the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. In the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of the app. It shows you where your seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the surrounding area like a 3D live photo. It's simple. Put in chat sports, get $20 off your very first purchase. You go to the redeem code section, plug in chat sports, $20 off. Terms do apply. Got to create an account to get and save some of that money. The information is going to be in the description and comment section of this video. If you're buying Lions tickets or any sort of tickets this year, make sure using Game Time. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. Folks, we are 2 weeks away from the 2024 NFL Draft. Cannot wait to be there, seeing who the Detroit Lions pick up and making our team much improved by the great Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's, obviously, latest Lions news and rumors. Yes. Folks, I'm happy I can come on this stream right now. Why? Because at noon, so at 12 o'clock, I was eating a piece of pizza, and it got crunchy. And I was like, why is this pizza so crunchy? It should not be this crunchy. It was my tooth. My tooth came out, my front tooth broke off. I was chewing on my tooth, and I swallowed it. So I had to go to the dentist really quick and got another tooth out there, and now we're looking pretty good. So my tooth broke off and had to get it taken care of. So it was fast. I walked in there, and they had me ready to go. So it was the quickest I've ever experienced at a dentist's office. But I'm happy because I can talk to you today and not look like a broke tooth. And I'm pretty happy about that. But enough about me. Let's get into the Detroit Lions. We're obviously going to talk about the Jared Goff doing he did a little bit of a podcast, and he talked about the local media, how the local media here is negative and not positive, and he is correct. The media here is always negative. Even we get to an NFC championship, you can listen to Rico Beard or whoever, and they're saying, oh, bad. It gets annoying. It gets old. Constant negativity. And I am happy that Jared Goff spoke out about it. It needs to be spoke out more. It's annoying. It's okay to not say everything bad about the Detroit Lions. Went to an NFC championship. Yes, we didn't get to a Super Bowl. Team's a good team. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say that the Lions are in the right direction. That stuff is okay to talk about. And guess what? Positivity sells as well, folks. Why do you think YouTubers are exploding? It is not because we're just more smarter than everybody else, because we're not jumping into this negativity stuff all the time. Because life is not just negative 24/7. Not everything's got to be bad. And the media has been screwing the pooch on this for many years, and it is good to see Brad Holmes. He did that at the end of the year, ripping on people. I love it that Jared Goff is doing it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I appreciate it. That's what's needed to be said. And, of course, the media is going to get all upset. They're going to get butthurt and cry a river. Well, then cry me a river and call it Cry Me River. We've had enough of it. Yes, there's times to be negative. Yes, there's time to be critical. But not 24/7. Come on. No one wants to hear negativity 24/7. It is just not the way to go. You need to be a little less hatred. I do agree that a lot of the media does this for clicks and views. It's 100%, because if you go on YouTube, if you're negative or if you do a crazy outtake, that will get a lot of views and it will push your video up. So it is no doubt about it that if you're negative and you talk bad about the Detroit Lions, it's going to get views. And I know this because now I work part-time at the local radio station here in Grand Rapids. And we talk about views quite a bit. They talk about the views and talk about subjects to get the ratings higher. And guess what? Negativity does sell. So I appreciate Jared Goff for being 100% honest. And I think that all of you should keep the media, keep YouTubers, even myself, in check. It's 100%. You got to do that. You got to keep us in check. You got to be able to steer us in the right direction because, you know, it's important to be. It's important to have your own view and be very strong with your view. It's important to be as unbiased as humanly possible. Obviously, we're not, right? We're Lions fans. We want our team to win, but as much as humanly possible that we can possibly be. I'm biased. I'm a Lions fan. I definitely want my team to win and all that stuff, but to just be negative all the time, people don't like that stuff. And Devin Davis is correct. He says, misery loves company. That's 100%. It's absolutely the truth. Misery loves company. There's time to be upset. I'm not saying that we just got to be all happy-go-lucky 24/7. Not at all. Not at all. But if we don't sign a player that, we'll do an example here. Talk about Danielle Hunter. Y'all know I liked him, right? Wanted the Lions to sign him. Did you see me cry a river when we didn't sign him? Do you see that the world is ending and that the Detroit Lions are horrible and then Brad Holmes, he can't sign anybody. He's just a Dollar General guy. He's terrible. No, folks. There's 31 other teams. And you're not going to get everybody you want. That's the name of the business. You can't just be clicks and views. I found I have unsubscribed when I see that. Yeah, good job. Good job, man. Because look, again, I'm not gonna beat on all negativity because there's times to be negative. Matt Patricia, I got tired of it. Every video said, like, dude, they got to fire this guy. Like, this guy is terrible, right? There's times to be negatives. But when your team went to the NFC Championship game, your team's got a really good history of the draft. They know what they're doing. Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. Why be negative if they don't sign a player you like? Is it really the end of the world? No, it's not. We can be irritated. My buddy TA, Raw Detroit, my best friend, man. And he is a individual he doesn't play around, but guess what? He's not negative all the time. Okay? He's negative when he wants to be, and he's positive when he wants to be. That's kind of the way it should be. Not all the time, man. And he is a guy that wants more from the Lions, so that's coming from the pessimistic side, and he's not pessimistic 24/7. So, appreciate you, Jared Goff. And again, you subscribers, well, before I move on to the next subject here, you subscribers, keep us all in check, myself included. Always keep us in check. It's the best thing to do. And I don't get upset about it if I'm caught in check, and I think it's a good thing. Let's get into the Mel Kiper mock draft, and it's very intriguing when he did his mock draft here. Let me get to it because I thought what he did was actually very possible and very intriguing here. So for the 29th pick, Mel Kiper Jr. went Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver out of Texas. The 6'2" wide receiver is very fast. He's a big body, contested catch guy. And a lot of people are going to say that's not the route they're going to go. That's not realistic. It's actually very realistic. And it's very possible that the Lions go Adonai Mitchell. And if the Lions do get a wide receiver with the 29th pick, I'm saying this every stream and every video. We already know people are going to go crazy. They're going to be negative. And we just talked about the negativity. If they get a receiver at 29, it's not a bad thing. We actually do need a receiver, and they go in best player available. We have to trust in Brad Holmes' ability to draft these players. Okay? Last year, People went crazy us getting Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell. I mean, they went crazy. And I'm like, hold your horses, folks. Hold it down. These are good players. And when I didn't want to get a tight end. They got Sam Laporta, and I said, I'm not a fan of getting a tight end, but I trust Brad Holmes. He knows what he's doing. Sam Laporta being a Pro Bowler, right? All pro, really. If they get a receiver, trust that Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. Okay, I think we got to get to that point. That if they go a position at 29 that we don't expect, trust them. Go offensive line as well. They could go tackle. It's actually a really good investment to get because the offensive line needs to stay strong. And if they get an offensive lineman, I don't think it'd be... First off, I don't believe the Taylor Decker trade is real. I'm just going to get that out of the way right now because when we talk about tackle, that's instantly what it's going to go to. I think that's BS. For this year, for sure, it just doesn't make any sense. But if the Lions were to get a tackle this year and then decide next year they wanted to move on from Taylor Decker, move Penei Sewell to the left side and move that tackle to the right side, I get it. It makes sense, right? You got to consistently regenerate your roster, and you're going to lose players. You're going to lose veterans. Then you got to redraft them and get better at that position. That's the whole point. So they could go wide receiver. They could go tackle. All right. And then the second round, Mel Kiper's got the Lions going to edge. I really like that. I think he's in tune. I know a lot of people hate Mel Kiper Jr. They like Todd McShay before Todd McShay was fired from ESPN a lot more. With that said, I actually think Mel Kiper is correct here. I'm actually a fan of Mel Kiper Jr. I don't think he doesn't get everything right. I'm sorry, with the draft, it's impossible to get everything right. Anybody that says, oh, he's the worst and stuff like that, folks, look at the players we've talked about. We thought were good, end up being bad, and vice versa. It's impossible to be right. Because you could look at the tape of a player, they're doing everything right? But you don't know the mentality of the player, right? The player may have a terrible work ethic or something like that you don't know about, and no one's going to get right, but I agree with him. I think that it's possible. Now, look, what's up, Taylor, Alexis, Craig, Devin, Jonathan, Lisa DeLorenzo, Ant-Man in the building. Just go BPA. So whatever they go, I'm fully on board with. I want defense. I'm telling you right now, my preference right now is to get this defense done, right? To get it fully taken care of. But just like Brad Holmes, I'm the same way. I'm not going to pick a player just because you picked the player because you have a need. If there is a better player on the board, you go BPA. You go best player available. That's the best route to go because that's how you don't screw up. That is how you don't make mistakes. If you're just simply going with your board, you trust your scouts, you trust the work you did, the department, everything. If you trust that process, you will be good to go. Brad Holmes is good at that. So trust the process. I looked at Eric Schlitz. His mock draft was an A, by the way. Eric Schlitz did the mock draft that if I was to do a mock draft, it would look identical to his. So he is absolutely on par. So if you want to check it out, you can go on Pride of Detroit. Check him out because he did a mock draft that this was the mock draft I would want. What's up, Raw? Just talked about you, man. Jay Williams, what's up? Devin Davis. With the 29th pick, he got the Lions taking Kool-Aid McKinstry, cornerback, Alabama. Yes. That would be great. And I do think Kool-Aid is really, really high on the Lions list. Okay, Kool-Aid McKinstry is from Alabama. They did a visit. They've done multiple visits with him. He's a physical corner. Makes a ton of sense that the Lions, if he is sitting there at 29, Kool-Aid McKinstry is sitting there at 29, I would kind of expect the Lions to take him. That I really do. I really do. Now, I like other corners ahead of him, but we're sitting at 29. We're not sitting at 10 anymore, right? I do like Quinyon Mitchell better. I like Jared Verse a lot. But we got to talk about the possibility. There's a great chance. I already know that if you want to get Quinyon Mitchell, you have to trade up. If you want to get Jared Verse, you probably have to trade up, right? If you're sitting there and Kool-Aid McKinstry is there, I think the line's going to take him. So I agree with Eric Schlitt, 110%. What's up, mile marker? Next pick, Cooper Beebe. How perfect would that be in the second round? Cooper Beebe is a phenomenal guard. And I think he actually could compete for a starting role. Now, it wouldn't happen immediately, but he is really good as a guard. Really good. And you got Zeitler for 1 year, and you got Graham Glasgow for 3. You get Cooper Beebe. Zeitler leaves after this year. You insert Cooper Beebe. You still got Graham Glasgow, right? Now we have to worry about Frank Ragnow and Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker, we could wait a little bit. Maybe Frank comes back. But you slowly rebuild the offensive line and not have to do it all at one time, because that would be a disaster. You just replace one player or 2 players, and you're not doing a whole revamp of the offensive line. It's not going to just be young guys. Terron Arnold, they could very well take Terron Arnold. 100%. 100%. At pick 73, they go Devontae Walker, wide receiver from North Carolina. They literally hit corner, guard, and wide receiver right off rip. I like it. Those all are needs. Those are needs. 100%. I like it. Him and Donovan Peoples-Jones, first off, he'd be better than Josh Reynolds. Not right off as a rookie, but obviously he's a higher end. We're talking about a young player compared to someone who's older. So he could absolutely, and that's why I keep saying the Lions could get a wide receiver round. You don't have to get it round 1. The wide receivers are deep in this class, and he fits perfectly, would be as a number 3. You wouldn't have to play him immediately because you got Donovan Peoples-Jones. You could put him in selected plays where he slowly gets acclimated to this Lions offense, and Jared Goff, it makes a lot of sense. He did a trade, and in the trade, we get 120. They go Zion Vaki, safety from Utah. Again, we need a safety. We're down 1. Trade up. You get a safety in the round 4. It makes a ton of sense. And he would immediately help out. It's a hell of a draft that did there. Javon Foster, offensive tackle. Brennan Jackson, edge, Washington. Then Aaron Casey, linebacker, Indiana. All very, very possible. And I like it. I really, really do. Who's going to the draft, Mike? So, guess. I'm going to try to get there in Detroit on day 2 and 3. I will be at the Soaring Eagle Casino with Herman Moore, Spenmo Rax, Speakeasy, Dose of Dion, and Everything King. You heard that right. You have the Avengers of YouTubers coming together at one place at the Soaring Eagle Casino. We'll do that again. Speakeasy from Woodward Sports, Spenmo Rax from Woodward Sports, myself, Herman Moore, right? Dose of Dion, and Everything King. We'll be live at Soaring Eagle Casino for day 1 of the draft. So come up early, too. I get there early. So how I do it is when I go to the Soaring Eagle, I get up there really early, way before it starts. I set up, and then I just hang around, man. So if you want to get up there and just BS, I'm not doing anything for probably about an hour before the draft. I just sit there and I'm just eating food and chilling. Come on down and hang out. If you want to meet up with me and Herm and everybody else, come hang out. We're all going to be there. So for the draft, and day 2, I'm going to try to I'd like to get up with Crunch Time and those guys, maybe Woodward Sports on day 2 and 3, just to hang out with everybody. And so we're going to be really live for the draft. It's going to be epic. Also, you're going to be seeing on here, you're going to start to see some players come on the show, and not necessarily Detroit Lions players. Jalen Waddle is going to be on here soon, a wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins. Maybe we can get some others like Darrelle Revis and Joe Flacco, because I'm friends now. I'm working with a buddy here on YouTube. And former player Brandon Mason, got to check him out, Brandon Mason Show. We're going to have him on here, but he's a former Miami Dolphin, New York Jet, and New York Giant. And we want to really take it to the next level. So I'm going to have some of his guys on here, and then I'll be doing I'm going to go and help him on his channel. I'm going to go down to Miami, and we're gonna tear this thing up. It's going to happen before the NFL season, so get ready for that. We're taking the channel, his channel, and YouTube in general to the next level. So we're going to have some players on here, and it's going to be cool. I tried to get Jalen Waddle on today, but I had a tooth thing, and I couldn't get a hold of Brandon Mason because I had my tooth thing. I had to go to the dentist. So that's going on here. Let's get into some more Detroit Lions stuff, though. Okay, so in 8 minutes, we're going to bring it up for Q&A. You guys can answer your questions, and then we're going to have some fun right there. But who do you want the Detroit Lions to pick at the 29th pick? Put a name in the comment section right now. Who do you want the Detroit Lions to pick? Hey, I don't have to pay for anything, mile marker. Go to Miami. There's a tough gig. I don't have to pay for anything. It's free. So housing and everything. So it's going to be nice. And it's right on the beach. So it's going to be epic. But for me, I think I personally would like the Lions to trade up a little bit. I would like the Detroit Lions to make a big move here. Trade up for Jared Verse or Quinyon Mitchell. That's what I'm looking for. Kurt says Verse. Darius Robinson, Alex. Darius Robinson's flying up boards, and I don't think he's going to be there at 29 now. I don't think so. He is flying up boards, especially after his pro day. So if you want to get him, you may have to trade up as well. We're going to trade to the 20 for Kool-Aid. I don't know if they would have to go to 20 to get Kool-Aid. I think Kool-Aid's going to be in the mix, I think, between 25, right? 25 and 29. It's kind of where he's going to land, unless there's a run in corners. But I would love Kool-Aid. Yeah, you'll see. Can we draft Will Harris again? Ant-Man, you son of a bee. You son of a bee. No, let this era of Will Harris go. It's over. That's really it. That was the last guy who I wanted off this team, and I don't have to complain anymore. Let's see. Did you hear about O.J. Simpson passed? I did not hear that. Toledo Toprito, absolutely. West Michigan or Cali? Oh, he's talking about him. Yeah, Toledo Toprito, Quinyon Mitchell, he just makes a perfect fit. But there's a lot of players out there that I think fit great with the Detroit Lions. Jackson Powers Johnson, he's a good fit. Kool-Aid McKinstry. I love the trade up for Quinyon Mitchell. Darius Robinson now, I think you're going to have to trade up for him. And then Jared Verse. So I would love to get any of those guys. If they don't get any of those guys, fine. But that's my personal preference of who I would like to get. In order, I'm going to go Jared Verse 1, Quinyon Mitchell 2. And why do I think the Lions need edge here? I think the edge is extremely important. Extremely important to get somebody opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I love Brad Holmes, but I do disagree with the trust that he is the opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. I don't trust in Davenport's. I don't trust in his health. I don't. I'm just going to keep it 100. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he can stay healthy because that's the best case scenario, right? I'm not rooting against him at all. I want Davenport to be a G, right? Like, I want him to do great, but I don't trust it. I want an up edge, and I want a pass rusher who can smack the quarterback. That's what I want. And I know, like, they say, it's, we got Joshua Pascal and John Kaminsky, Marcus Davenport. I think Jared Verse would look really good in Honolulu Blue. Or even Robinson would look really good in Honolulu Blue if the Lions were to get that. And if you have pass rush, it's going to make the secondary so much better. It's going to make life so much easier. And I would be really happy. Let's see. Boyle is being signed 3 years. The guy has a rocket of an arm. Oh, it's... come on, Dr. Detroit. The era of Tim Boyle and David Blau is over. And it looks like Will Harris over. So I don't really have nothing to complain about the roster. I just never understood those three because they sucked. They sucked really bad, and so I never believed they should even been on a roster. But David Blau is probably the least of all three of those guys. He actually is better than Tim Boyle. And Will Harris is just, look, man, he needs to go to the UFL. Go to the UFL. I think you have a good spot there. You'd probably be pretty good over there, but you're just not, it's not good, man. Just not a good player. So if you guys got questions, let's go ahead and open it up for the mailbag segment. Let me make sure that I got everything squared away here for the title. We're going to do right there. Got that taken care of. So if you have a question, let's get her done. So trade up for verse Bradley Mustaine. I am with you, my friend. I would love to do that. Trade up, make a splash move, get a Jared Verse, because I look at like the Houston Texans, what they did last year. They trade up to get Will Anderson, they turn around, get Daniil Hunt. Like, they're making moves, and I really like them going in to get Will Anderson, and I like the Lions to go ahead and get Jared Verse. To have two pass rushers will really change the dynamic of this defense significantly. It really, really will, and that's what I want to see. That's my personal opinion. What's up? We got a super chat. Ultra combo breaker. $9.99 by Matt J. Williams. Thank you so much for that super chat. God bless you. He says, think that James Houston plays a lot this year. I really hope so. I think he's just got to be healthy. That's my concern with James Houston. I love James Houston. He's a situational pass rusher, right? He's not going to get all the snaps in the world, but he's good at what he does. Just got to be healthy. So I hope so. It's all health with him. And I think a situation with him, he's not injury prone, is one of those deals. So I think he plays this year. I don't think he's an injury prone player. I don't. But thank you so much for that super chat. Anybody but Kool-Aid. So he doesn't want Kool-Aid. That's fine, man. Not everybody thinks the same. Appreciate your thoughts right there. Let's see. Would you be upset with Dallas Turner? Would I be upset? I don't think I'll be upset anything that I don't think I'd be upset anything that Brad Holmes does. Last year, to me, proved, and I put my faith in Brad Holmes, proved he knows how to draft players. He sees something, get who you covet. If that's what he likes, go get it. You're not going to hear me complain at all about the draft this year, about players, because I really do trust Brad Holmes in his draft. I trust Brad Holmes' ability to find talent more than my own, bar none. TA from Raw Podcast. He knows talent. He can do it. Tom Downey knows talent. Brad Holmes is the best. Like, that's just the way it is. So I'm perfectly fine with it. That's why I didn't get mad last year at all. I actually had Jahmyr Gibbs in a mock draft. I just had him in the second round, and y'all know about Jack Campbell. I talked about him nearly every single freaking Thursday. So would you be upset with Jonah Ellis? I'm going to just say with that, I'm not going to be upset about any player. And that's just the bottom line. I won't be upset. Now, now, that said, it depends where in the draft, right? Like, if we were, like, we get a Mikel LaShore, like, say we drafted Mikel LaShore in the first round, something ridiculous, which is not going to happen, then it would be upset. Matt Millen type of stuff, that's not Brad Holmes, okay? So I'm not going to get upset. When will the extension happen? I do think the extension happens this offseason for Jared Goff, St. Brown, and Ali McNeil. I think they're all going to get extended. It's just a matter of time. They're probably focused on the draft right now, but best believe they're going to get extended. Jared Goff will get extended, folks. He is going to be the quarterback for the next 5 years, in my opinion. St. Brown will get extended. He's going to be a wide receiver for the next probably 10 years in Detroit. He'll get 2 extensions. This dude is unless he injures himself or something, something crazy. Something crazy. Hell, sorry. Don't ever apologize. Don't ever apologize. We all have lives. What's the chances of getting kicker Jake Bates, I think it's pretty high. I'm sure Brad Holmes is watching. There's no reason to jump on a UFL. First off, the UFL season's still going on. Secondly, he's getting more reps at kicker. You can't just because he made 2 kicks doesn't dissolve him throughout his whole entirety. So let this guy get more kicks in, and then he can compete in training camp. 100%. Enos Rickastraw or I like Rackstraw. I do shift. I like Rackstraw. I like him a lot. Second round, I think, would be really good. He would be a nice piece in the back end. He'd be really, really nice. I do like him. I think he's a second round talent, though, so I'm not going to take him at 29. I know he was a second round pick, but I'm saying, like, if they got a player like that in the first round where you're like, what? Or actually like Titus Young, I'm not going to lie. He just was mental. Like, he was actually a pretty good football player. Jelani Tavai, getting him in the first round or something like that, right? That would be, because even in the second round, we're like, what? So I don't see Brad Holmes doing anything like that. Let's see, hashtag FGB, do you think J-Mo will actually play the whole season this year? Yeah, he'll play. The only reason he didn't play the whole year was because of the suspension. And he had a little bit of a nagging injury for a little bit, but nothing serious. Yeah, I think he'll play the whole season. Maybe he'll miss a game or two. I mean, all players generally do, but I don't think he's going to be out the whole season or anything like that. But yeah, he'll play. He's not an injury-prone player, so I'm not worried about it at all. Yeah, he had when in college, right before we drafted him to sit a year, basically, but it is more of a freak injury, not injury-prone. How many pre-draft trades do you see happening this year? I could see a lot happening. Are you talking about the Lions or every other team? Every other team, I see them for sure. Before the NFL draft, best believe I think the Vikings trade up with the team, probably in the top 5 to get J.J. McCarthy. I could see a situation like that. For sure, pre-draft trades. For the Lions, I really don't see a pre-draft trade. I'm sure they're talking to teams, but they'll let the play out. But other teams, yeah. I mean, this is a year for the quarterback. A lot of people want quarterbacks. And so it's just like a couple years ago, the Trey Lance draft and the draft of Zach Wilson. It's that draft, right? They already had pre-draft trades. And the RG3 one and Andrew Luck. So I could see a situation 100% like that. The narrative has always been have a bad history drafting corners in the first round. Yeah, I'm not going to go ahead with history on this one because we also had a bad history in the second round before Brad Holmes, and now the second round we're doing great. I think it has to do with who's drafting the player. And remember, Darius Slay, he was a second-round pick. Realize this is actually early in the second round. He was a hell of a player for the Lions, so I trust their ability to find corners. I do. Just let Brad Holmes cook. Let's see. Hashtag FGB, who do you think will be our biggest NFC North threat this year? Green Bay Packers. Long-term, Chicago Bears. I think Chicago's building a team. I think they could be an 8-win team this year, but they're building a team, folks. They're not playing around. Their defense is already really good. Okay, they got 2 first-round picks. They're taking the quarterback with the first pick in the draft. Okay, they could take a wide receiver or an offensive lineman with their second pick in the top 10. That's a team I'd be looking out for the future. But this year, Green Bay, I think they're ready to win right now. Obviously, they won in the playoffs. It's clear. Chicago is the long-term team that you got to worry about, right? Caleb Williams. What if they traded up to get even Marvin Harrison Jr.? They could do that. They're building something right there. The Vikings, you're right, too. We just got to – I don't really know what the hell the Vikings are doing, so we just got to see what quarterback they take, right? They got a good offense, but we don't fully know yet. So after the draft, you ask that question again, and we'll see. We'll ask that question and see. Ryan Broyles, the second round. That was a terrible draft pick. Good dude, terrible draft pick. He was a history of being injured all the time. What do you think about Gibbs? You see him getting better Absolutely. Jahmyr Gibbs, Chris Johnson 2.0. Jahmyr Gibbs is a special talent. He's going to be the best running back in the NFL. I'm saying it right now. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the best running back in the National Football League. He is explosive. He's patient. He catch out of the backfield. This guy is a stud. He is a stud. We haven't seen a running back like him in a long time. We haven't. And it's good. The guy's not a small fry either, so he can take a beating. He can definitely do that. I love it. I love what Jahmyr Gibbs is to be special. Micro, would you prefer a cornerback or an edge at 29? Either or. I do want edge a little bit more, Bradley, but if we're saying at 29, it depends who's there. I'm not just going to take like an edge just to take an edge. I'm not going to take a corner just to take a corner. No, it'd have to be who's there, right? So I'm not taking Chop Robertson at 29. I wouldn't do that. I'll take Darius Robinson at 29. Let's see. I'll take Kool-Aid McKinstry at 29, but I'm not going to take a guy who I literally just talked about at the corner just a few moments ago. So Rackstraw. So it just depends who's there. They're both significant needs. Now, if you're just saying like the position, I'll go edge, but it all depends who the player is too. But I do want edge taken care of, 100%. Hashtag Smash the Hole. Who will have the worst record this season? Great question. Who is going to have the worst record this season? I think it's between two teams, Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. Those teams are absolute and utter dumpster fires. Daniel Jones is trash. Saquon Barkley was their offense. He left. They suck. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good offensive line. The running game blows. Their defense blows. And then you go to Carolina. I think Bryce Young's a bust. I think their offense sucks. I think their defense sucks. They made a horrible trade trading Brian Burns for a second-round draft pick when the year before they could have got 2 firsts and a third. I think those organizations are dumpster fires, and I think they suck. I think those two are going to compete for the worst record in the NFL. Arizona, they have the least amount of talent, but they fight for their head coach. So I see them getting better. Like, they'll get the talent. The players are fighting hard. Those other organizations, it's not. Height, yeah. Body style, no, man. Barry had a gigantic thighs. Like, if you've seen his thighs, that's why he could move so much. They were gigantic and strong. But Gibbs is so fast and smooth, and he's not. He wears his weight good, so he is a really built well at the running back position. Oh, you like the mock draft your guy did? Yeah, man. Look, it was a good mock draft. The Eric Schlitt one, that was a hell of a mock draft. That's the best mock draft I've seen. Karen Rodgers did not retire. Lisa, for me, if we take a cornerback in the first round, it has to be Quinyon Mitchell or Kool-Aid McKinstry. Look, I love Quinyon Mitchell. That dude. He kind of he's a physical son of a bitch. Like Quandre Diggs physical. He hits hard, but he's obviously bigger and stronger, and he's not a safety. Oh, that would be so good on this defense. Just having a feisty SOB out there, just punching people in the face. I would love it. Oregon here. What's up, Oregon? Hey, I'm from Oregon. I'm born in Oregon. What are you hearing on Frank the Tank's health? Will he be good to go? He's playing this year. Yep, he didn't retire. He's resting up. His toe's never going to be healed. But everything else is fine. I think this is going to be his last year in Detroit. I don't want it to be the last year in Detroit, but he has taken a beating over the years, and that toe is going to be something he deals with the rest of his life. I think this is the last year in Detroit. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he doesn't retire after this year, but I do think it is because he's just getting beat. And he's not a guy that cares about all the money or anything like that. Like, this could be his last year. I hope not. I truly hope not. Why did the Jags sign Allen? Oh, Josh Allen, because Allen's really, really good. Yeah, he's a good player. That's why they had no choice to sign him. So, I mean, they have no choice, man. I mean, you had to at that point. I prefer Mitchell or Wiggins. I do like Wiggins over Kool-Aid McKinstry. I just don't think Nate Wiggins is going to be there. That's why I haven't had him in a mock, because I just don't believe he's going to be there. When you're 6'2" and a cornerback the way that he operates, teams covet that type of stuff, and it's extremely rare. I think he'll probably go, I'll say, between 17 and 23. That's where Wiggins goes. But if he fell to the Lions at 29, best believe I'm jumping on it. Hashtag FGB. Is there any free agents that led us want the Lions to sign? There's a couple free agents out there, and they're not going to sign until after the draft. The bigger names. They're not going to sign after the draft, and that's because they're waiting to see what holes teams have, and they want to make more money. So, like, say if the Lions didn't get a top-end cornerback, we came out of the draft with everything but a cornerback, then you can go into free agency and sign one, right? You can get Stephon Gilmore if you wanted to do that. So we will wait after the draft to really dig into that. After the NFL draft, I'll make a video about, the needs and who the Lions may target the rest of free agency to get this roster squared away for training camp. But there's players left, just not right now. Wait till after the draft. What about Decker? I heard rumors he was thinking about leaving Detroit. The rumors are incorrect. First off, he loves Detroit. He wants to stay here. He just stated that. The rumors is that the Lions may trade him, and that came over last weekend, and it came across a lot of websites. I have a hard time believing it. I don't think the Lions can trade Taylor Decker. Not right now. It doesn't make sense because the Lions were in the NFC Championship game. He's a veteran. He wants to be here. It's only $19.1 million for a left tackle. That's not much, okay, for a left tackle in the NFL standards. Our offensive line was the strength of the football team, and he's the leader of it. So why would you do that right now? It doesn't make sense. Now, after this year, I think that's possible, but I don't see it happening this year. He's not even 30 at this point, so just doesn't make any sense. So I put a video out there, I think it was on Monday, talking about it. I don't believe it. I personally have not heard from any of the folks I talked to, not a single thing about it. And they haven't heard, if they ever heard anything about it, I personally haven't heard anything about it. I think it's BS. I think it was made up. I don't know if about made up, but maybe somebody wants it that way, but I just don't see it being realistic. I don't. Who is the under-the-radar player on a roster that think will make a jump next year? Two players we'll get into. Broderick Martin, I think, will make a jump because he absolutely didn't do anything last year. So by him just being on the field, you make a jump. So he automatically makes a jump by default. Jack Campbell, I think, is going to be much better, right? He was playing better. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll take a jump for sure. Donovan Peoples-Jones, how about him? Watch him. He'll make a jump too. He's a good receiver. We traded for him. I said it was a good trade. A lot of people were upset about it, but I do think that Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to make an impact on this Lions roster. He is a good receiver, folks. I think people just forget, right? He's a big body guy. He can do the contested catches, and everything that was thrown to him the last couple weeks of the season, he caught everything. He's starting to get on the same page with Jared Goff, so I think he'll make a nice jump. He will. What's up, Justin? Big Arms Chase, man. What's up, Josh Jackson? Appreciate you in here, man. Been a sub from day one. I think other team media outlets are trying to create... Yeah, that's possible, Josh. And look, all it takes is one bad apple to do something like that, and then you got a rumor floating around, right? It may not be true. They just don't like the player, or they want a scenario, something to talk about. That's kind of what I'm thinking it is, because I don't think it's 100% made up, because a lot of people reported on it, but then at the same time, I just don't really believe it. So If it happens, I'd be shocked. We'll just put it that way. Smash the hole. We need a Cliff Averill type of player opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, 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 yes. Cliff Averill back in 2011, if you remember watching the game. He then left to Seattle Seahawks. I think, was it 2014 he went to Seattle, or I don't know exactly. But he was a good pass rusher for the Lions. He was good at getting to the quarterback, not good in the run game. He wanted a gigantic payday, so that's why I called him Cliff over Averill. Even though I like Cliff Averill, he picked up my daughter and was playing basketball with her on his shoulders. So I like Cliff Averill, but we do need another pass rusher like his ability. It doesn't necessarily need to be the biggest name or the best, but somebody. Right now, we don't have anybody, and I don't trust Marcus Davenport. I don't. I really don't. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I don't trust Josh Paschal to be a 10-plus sack guy. I don't. I like Josh Paschal. He's really good in the run game, in which I like, but we need to have a pass rusher too. We need to have a guy that gets to the quarterback. We have our run stuffers. We have DJ Reader, who I love that we signed. He's going to stop the run. We got Lee McNeil. I like it. I'd love to see another defensive tackle get drafted, but we need a pass rusher, a young pass rusher who we can rely on to get to the quarterback. James Houston's in that mix as well, but we still need another one. Free agents, there's not a single free agent I want to sign at this moment. After the draft, we will definitely be talking about that. But right now, I want the Lions to focus on the draft. It's 2 weeks away. Upgrade the roster in the draft. This is where we make our money. This is where this team gets better, is in the draft. It's not in free agency. It's the draft. We got 7 picks. Let's get those picks in here. And then if there's still holes, we go to free agency. If we didn't get a corner or an edge or something, we could pick somebody up to help that position out. Would you be okay if drafting Chris Jenkins? If they draft him, I'm cool. I'm going to continue to say this. Whoever they draft, I support. I support Brad Holmes. I believe in his draft and his ability to find talent. I do 100% believe in it. And so I'm not going to be upset on anybody who they draft. I'm just not going to do it. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a brutal game player. He is going to get better and better. Aiden Hutchinson, he's always going to get... that's the players you want on this team, is someone that's always striving to get better. Aiden Hutchinson's like St. Brown. They're the same, and Penei Sewell, they're just so similar of how their mindset is about being better and, continue to evolve and make plays and practice hard. These are the type of players we got now in Detroit that you don't have to worry about their play in the field or their work ethic. You don't have to worry about it. They're going to do their job. And so it's awesome. I love his attitude, and that's what we need in Detroit is guys who just love the game of football, that want to, and that's why Darius Robinson makes so much sense, because not only is he a good pass rusher, not only is he a hard worker, but he's a Detroit Lions fan. He's a Lions fan. He wants to be here. So imagine having a Lions fan wanting to be for your team is really good. Of course you're going to want that guy in the team. He's going to put in the effort. You will not worry about Darius Robinson and his work ethic because he absolutely wants to be here. So that's something you don't got to worry about. What about field goal kickers? Yeah, look, they can get a guy late in the draft, 6th, 7th round. They can do that. They get Jake Bates. There's options you can do undrafted. Kickers, they can find a kicker. They'll probably draft one maybe in the 7th round. I'm not too worried about the kicker position. I think they'll get it figured out at some point going forward. Hutch, Houston, Davenport, for big sack guys, we need one more. I agree. We do need one more, 100%. I want Simmons to Detroit after the draft. Give Kirby, Iffy some competition and also some contrast to C.J. Gardner-Johnson on how you choose to carry yourself as a man. C.J. Gardner-Johnson turned out to be a joker. He just talks, I don't mind it, but I can see why people would get irritated with it. You're right. It can be a distraction. Simmons would be great in Detroit. He would be great. If the Lions don't get a safety, they can go ahead and get Simmons. He's a free agent. You add him to this team, This would be a scary deep. Like we're so close to having this defense completely changed. It's close. It's real close, folks. And Simmons would definitely help out with that. Good job, Justin, for that take. Good job. Either Darius Robinson or Fisk, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, unless you trade up for a verse. Yeah, 100%. And we don't know what's going to happen, but I agree with you. I think it's so awesome that the subscriber base is pretty informed. You guys are very informed throughout the years, and you're really starting to dig into this type of stuff. I know a lot of people don't want to, dig into the draft or dig into free agency so much, but you guys are doing it and you're informed. The Lions fan base is not a bunch of morons. We're not just a bunch of idiots. So, I mean, there's always going to be the bunch of each fan base, but I do feel like the Lions fan base knows what the hell they're talking about, and it's really, really good to see. Did my girl break up Biffco? What? No. What? No. What? That's cray-cray. No. No. Were you Biffco or was it Tiff that was on that stream last night talking about my name, Micro Mike, and I got a small D? I think that's hilarious, by the way. Whoever did that, I think it was you or is somebody else. I loved it. I think it's hilarious. Everybody's laughing about it. That's why I named myself Micro Mike, is everybody assumes I'm talking about the D, even though it's economics. But I love it. I love you guys come up with your crazy ideas. That's what makes this platform so much fun. Draft 2 weeks from today. I know 2 weeks away. Then we could just stop talking about this. We just want the draft. We all want to see what's going to happen. And, I wasn't here last. Oh, okay. It was somebody else. It was somebody like your name, and I thought that was really, really funny. But, yeah, man. No, I'm good. Let's see here. And I will be, again, if you want to meet us all, we'll be at the Soaring Eagle Casino. Come and say hi. I'll be there. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be a really good time. Really, really good time. Fam and everybody. You get to see. So come on down. It is funny, man. I think it's hilarious, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that Bulge stuff, the Bulge Army, that stuff was hilarious. Oh, my God. I didn't even know about it until I got told by Speakeasy. I was live on Woodward Sports. They had me in there. They're like, you hear about this Bulge? I wasn't on Twitter that day, so I didn't know about it. Then I go on Twitter and I see all this Bulge stuff. I'm laughing so hard, man. You guys are freaking hilarious. I thought, man, you guys are funny as a mug, man. Funny as a mug. Golly, that's why I like the Lions fans, man. Y'all know, y'all come up with some funny stuff, man. Oh, man, every name had a bulge with it for, that's hilarious. Who would be your top offensive line besides Cooper and Mahogany? Who would be there? We're talking about players. We could always say, right, the top guys, right? But they're not going to be there at pick 29. Jackson Powers Johnson would be there at 29. I think he would be an option there. Mahogany and Cooper Beebe, they're second-round selections for sure. There's a lot, but I just don't know who's going to be there. I've been hearing rumors that there could be a run on offensive line by pick 8, and that's where the line blows up. And if that's the case, a lot of these guys may not even be there at 29 if there's a run. So we have to wait and see. Oh, man, that British Bulge, that stuff is funny, bro. I was crying. I was laughing so hard, guys. I was crying. Lucas Longlog, that is hilarious. God, that's hilarious. Lucas from, I think it's Crunch Time. Hilarious. And you guys are funny as a mug, man. And you change your avatar for a freaking piece of wood. Oh, my God. This stuff is funny. Oh, my God. See us drafting an edge in round 1? I hope so. I give it an edge. I don't know, man. Like, they could go any direction. I want them to go edge. But I'm telling you right now, I don't know. This Brad Holmes is so secretive. Any rumor that you're hearing, and which there's none, Consider it to be BS. I'm telling you right now, and I'm being 100% honest with you. People I talk to, okay, they have no idea. Nobody knows. So anybody that tells you they know, it's full of it. I'm telling you right now, we don't know. We're just sitting here waiting just like you. We have no idea. No, I don't care about language, man. Look, dude, I'm not that anal on a lot of stuff here. I don't care. I think it's funny. I think this stuff is hilarious. As long as you're not disrespecting other people or putting people down, I really don't give an S. If it's funny, it's funny. Could you imagine if jumps to Nubin instead of... Oh, man, Mike, you good sport about it. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I think it's funny, man. I think it's funny. I think it's funny as a mug, man. Bulge Army, all welcome on this site. I don't care, man. If it's funny, we're having a good time. That's what this is. Folks, this is why I go live. I got to keep 100 with you. I don't make nothing off my live streams, okay? I make money off videos. My live streams are the worst that is done. Why? Because videos are more productive. I do this because I don't have a chance to talk to everybody in videos and comment on everybody. And I like to have fun. And it really is. You guys are fun. It's like hanging out with a group of people. And so I enjoy it. The reason I do lives, I enjoy it. It's not because of money or anything like that, because you don't really get any. The only money you get on a live stream is if you do the game on Sundays. That's it. But like today's OnePride podcast, by next week, I'll have 3,000 views. And if you look at my videos, you see 9,000, 10,000 views. So it's the least amount, but it's the funnest. I love it. I want to be hanging out with you guys. I like the jokes. I think it's hilarious. I don't have a script when I do the OnePride podcast. There is nothing here. So it is just completely out of my butthole is where this stuff comes from, and out of my head. So it's all about having fun here. It's all about having fun. Yeah, good. Yeah, I know, Weston Line. You're 100%. And by the way, I'll do a mock draft. I'm going to do one final mock draft, probably like a couple days before the real draft. I don't expect a single one of these guys to be the selection. I don't know, man. It's such a guess. This is hard. It is hard. I'm going to give it the best guess I could possibly get. If I get one pick right, I will do a dance, okay? Because I don't think I'm going to get any right. I'm going to keep 100 with you. I love this channel and watch it when I can, and you learn new stuff when you go live on your... Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. And this is the reason why we do it, man, is folks like you. Thank you so much. It's humbling to hear these type of comments. It really is. When you first start YouTube, it's very difficult because a lot of people rip on you, and so that's why you see a lot of people leave YouTube. It's hard to handle, right? But after a while, man, it's just you get through that tough part, and then it's fun from there, right? You don't even care. You don't care about anything. You're just having fun. I'll do one final one, and then we'll call it a day here. We'll do two more. Lions, do we get offensive line in the first 3 rounds? I'm going to say yes. Yes, we do. We will get offensive line in the first 3 rounds. Could you imagine if oh, we already did that one. Where's the other one that I did not see? I wanted to get to it. Something about trading backwards. I can't find it. Let me see. Well, I couldn't find it, but somebody said it, so I can't find it, but there's very possibly trade backwards. It's just as possibly trade backwards as we do trade upwards. So expect the unexpected. Do we pick an offensive line in the first 3 rounds? I do believe so. It's been reported that Brad could be looking to move up either the 14th or 15th pick. Yeah, I guarantee he's making phone calls. You do this. So all the teams do this. It doesn't even need to be reported. All teams do this. They call teams up, and then they let them know, okay, this is kind of what it would be if that player is there. Why do they do this before the draft? Because the draft, you have 10 minutes to pick. And they don't want to waste all the 10 minutes. So they're already kind of like have ideas of deals in place. So all teams are doing this right now. So if the lines are looking to trade up, I 100% believe that they've talked to the teams at 14 or 15 because all teams are doing that right now. And you have to do that right now. You have to talk about other teams and trades before the draft, or else you could miss the pick. I think that happened before with the Vikings. So we don't want that to happen to us. So guarantee you Brad Holmes has talked. I appreciate everybody hanging out. We have one more OnePride podcast before the draft. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be live for the draft on my channel and on Lions Nation Unite with everybody. Again, Spenmo, Rax, Speakeasy, Everything King, myself, Herman Moore, Dosa Dion, Everything King. We're all going to be live together at the Soaring Eagle. So make sure you guys check us out. That's what it is all about. And with that said, folks, I'll leave you with the greatest words ever spoken. Adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring, I just want a life that is worth every day exploring, My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great, yeah, yeah.